This is Life Transformation Radio. Prepare to engage. Seatbelt activated. Download initiated. Your quantum journey of transformation begins in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to a very special edition of Life Transformation Radio. We are on the scene right here at PODROCK, and actually we're at Feast at Ford in Napa, California for PODROCK. I'm Ron Artis, best-selling author of The Law of Action, voice actor, business mindset coach, the podcast whisperer, and Mr. Action himself. And I had a chance today to cross paths with an incredible recording artist, an incredible human being. And last night, I was blown away by your music. It's Ron Artis II, and he's with the band And the Truth. And I just want to thank you for being here today. And we're going to talk about more of the heart-centered stuff. What makes Ron tick? So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Rob. And first off, man, thank you. You're too kind. Pleasure.
It was great. You know, it's fascinating to me because there's things that you know and the things that you don't know. And last night was an opportunity for me to learn about something that I didn't know. And I never have heard your music before. I've never heard of you anywhere in this grand universe of everything that's going around. I never heard of you. And I felt kind of like gypped. Like, why did I not hear about you earlier? Because I would have enjoyed your music longer. And I think you're really, truly magical on stage.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Rob.
Absolutely. And so, you know, I know you're here and you're being interviewed by all of these music podcasts, and I love talking about music, but I really want to talk about you and your story of transformation and how this all came about. Because I do know that you weren't even going to be a performer, a musician. So where does it start?
Well, for music was in my life really, really early on. And I mean, both my parents are musicians. And so I really was drawn to piano and keyboards and those things at an early age. But the idea of saying, I'm going to go out and make a career out of this, it just never was in the forefront of my thinking or my idea. It's like music was always a really close friend of mine, really to something really personal and really, really powerful in my life. So I still, for the most part, don't think about it as a career.
Well, you know, we're very fortunate to do what we do and to provide for our families. And I know you're expecting, which is kind of cool. And I got a chance to hang out with your kids. So not in essence a career, but you are performing. You're a working musician, and you had an incredible performance last night. So
thank you.
When did you start performing? When did you start performing for your family? When did you start getting that music vibe?
So, yeah, if you look on YouTube, there's
I love it. I'm looking.
There's a lot of videos where I played in my family band back with my father before he passed away. It's called the Ron Artis Family Band. And, must have been, I'm 35 now. I got my first real guitar when I was 13, started singing at 22. And I think we started really doing a lot of tours about 6-7 years ago, I want to say. Those all pre-COVID, and now it's like everything's starting to open again. We're getting out and doing this, and it's incredible because before I really appreciate it. Before this whole pause this last few years, I really appreciated being able to see people share the energy in their performance, share the space. And it's just been like this bolt of electricity hitting you now that things are back. You know, being able to sit like this, have a podcast, have a conversation.
That's great.
And a beautiful, amazing festival, PODROCK, happening outside. It's just incredible to be back in this space and sharing. And then this newfound appreciation for being able to gather with people and share moments and make memories. It's just, for me, there's so much gratitude.
Yeah, and so last night you performed at Podopolo After Dark here at PODROCK. And like I said, it never, but the energy in the room was magnificent. And it's a small venue where it was at. And when you got up and you just started performing, it was like, wow, it really, I could feel you. And when you walked on stage, I could feel you. And I was like, this is a really, there's depth to you. So you're from Hawaii.
Yeah, I grew up in Hawaii, a town called Haleiwa on the North Shore.
What island is that?
Oahu.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so North Shore is really known for a lot of surfing.
Yeah.
What I think a lot of people don't know is that at the core of that, the root of that, there's a lot of what I like to call it crazy personalities on the North Shore. Meaning, when you have these like mountain-sized waves crashing out there in the ocean, the inherent normal response is to get away from them.
Yeah,
love.
So you were one of those guys that's like,
No.
hey, there's 50-foot wave. I'm going to go ride that. Was that you?
No, man.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
spend all my time with guitar, but what I love is being surrounded with people with the mentality of, I've found something they're so passionate about
Yeah.
that I don't want to say they don't think about the risk, but the risks are definitely there and everybody's aware of it. But the passion outweighs that. And the pursuit to create music, the pursuit to do art and share that and live your life in the middle of arts, it's not the safest way to build a family, to build a business.
Right.
It's like, oh man, but what about this could happen, this could happen. It's like, no, the reason, the purpose is so powerful. The purpose is so important that, I'm going to go at this mountain of whatever it might be to try to express or share what it is we set out to do. And it's one of the things I love about the North Shore is like the mentality of the people that are around all the time is first, there's a lot of respect, there's a lot of love, but there's all this, let's just go, let's do it, let's make it happen. You know, we could sit back and talk about it forever, right, or we can just go. And that's something I really love about the North Shore is that energy and that personality.
Yeah, there's something special about the islands of Hawaii. I was in the Big Island, and there's just this energy. You know, the Big Island is like the land of misfits, you know, like from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You know what I'm talking about. Oahu is a much more touristy, but there's just something, you know, Mother Earth is so present in Hawaii. And, you know.
Well, yeah, man, the land, we call it the Aina, is really important. It's
you can feel it.
Yeah,
Hawaii is special. If you stop and you breathe, you can feel it. A lot of tourists miss out the beauty of the spirit of the islands.
Well, it's easy to do so. I mean, we tour and travel a lot, and there are places where we really wanted to see, for instance. Like, right. And the first thing you think is like, if I'm going to go to this place I've always craved to go, and I've got 7 days to see it, you're going to mark all the highlights of the places you've dreamed of seeing. And so in that way, I can't really fault tourists who don't get to see what makes the energy there that they come to. They come like, oh man, I have 7 days and I'll probably never be able to go back in the next 12 years. I'm going to go see as much as possible. And then you see them at the airport and they're like so exhausted. You're like, but Hawaii is the place that feeds you.
Right.
Hawaii is the place that grounds you. Right. But, you know, I can understand it because, you know, we've gone to Montana. We've visited a few other countries where we're like, oh, man, there's so much I want to see.
Did you call Montana a country?
No, Montana. Well, no. We've gone, when I say country, like we've gone to France. We've gone to, my wife's from Germany. Yeah.
No, Montana. So Montana's like a country.
Yeah, I know. It can be like that. But yeah, no, Montana is one of my favorite places to go because it's just like, we tried to go. We went there like 3 or 4 years in a row. In May is when our anniversary is, and so we would go to Montana to just go there and just we rent a cabin. We go as a family and just unplug. You know what I mean? And it's important, but we would catch ourselves sometimes like, oh, I want to go to the lake. I want to go and do this. I want to do this. And at the end of it, it's like we never took the time to. Yeah. But that's what I wanted to point out with a lot of the tourists who come to Hawaii is. It's easy to get upset with them. It's like, man, you're missing out on everything. You're creating the traffic. You're doing this. You're doing that. You're buying all the tourist trinkets and you're missing out on it. But it's like, then you sit down and you maybe speak to someone and they're like, They'd be like, hey, I'm from Montana, or I'm from New York City, and I work a job and I do this, and finally I've saved up enough to where me and my whole family can go on this family trip vacation for 1 week. And each of us have made a list of 3 things we want to do and need to see.
Right.
And so there's no time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and it's a hard push and pull. It's like you have a dream of something you want to do. It's like, I mean, for me as a musician, it's like I go to a festival and it's like I want to see all these artists. But it's like after you see a performance that moves you, you sometimes you need to sit down for 2 hours and process that and feel that. Yeah. But sometimes I'm just like, yo, man, they got Marcus King, they got The Alive, they got Peter Collins, they got this guy, they got that guy. And I was just like, I want to see it all. Absolutely. And then at the end of the day, I'm sitting there and I'm just like 1 a.m. and I'm just like, dude, that was awesome. Yeah. You know, but then I'm like, I'm so exhausted, and people are like, did you sit? Did you have a drink? Did you have a sip of wine? Did you have a meal? I was like, I ate trail mix all day.
I know.
You know what I mean? But still, so I get that. But it's like, you wanted to talk about like purpose, transformation, and the heart behind the person behind doing it. And for me, it's really important to hold on to the purpose of why one does what one does.
Yeah. And
having passion and love for music it's who I am. It's kind of like in the fabric of who what my soul is, or something. Somehow it just started. But the battle comes when you try to protect the idea of purity related to that.
Right.
Meaning, there are a lot of talented artists in the world.
Yes, there's many.
Many. And I come in contact with a bunch, and it's like, but the fruit that we bear into the world musically or creatively in an art, in an art-wise way, that's where the big gap comes for me. If you go back and listen, we do funk, we do rock and roll, we do rap,
no,
we
I
do
love
everything.
It was so great. I was just like
jazz. We do
Every
a
time,
lot.
like,
Thank you.
Yeah.
But one thing you're gonna hear, the common thread through it all is our purpose, our reason, and our positivity.
I could feel your love.
Thank you, Rob.
I loved it. And you know, so I wanted to be in radio since I was 4.
Awesome.
And I declared in front of my family, I was 4 or 5 years old. I stood in front of the TV and I said, I want to talk on TV. And
you definitely have the voice for it, man.
Thanks, man. Well, it's amazing. So it's so amazing about that because I didn't know what that meant. I was 5.
Yeah.
So as I progressed through life, but I made a declaration. So you're saying, and so I then worked my way up and I played radio and I did it all. I ended up in San Diego at a major radio station for 15 years and I was a radio personality and now I'm a voice actor. So I do everything. And I'm a podcaster with multiple podcasts and I get the joy of working with Podopolo. And it's amazing what I set out to do when I was a little child that, you know, how in the world would I know what I did? And I did that. And then you're saying that you didn't want to do that. Or was it fear? And you're just like, you didn't see, was it this? Was it, I'm not worthy or what? It's not me. Like someone else could go be a recording or a musician. And is that what it was?
It was like this. It was, if you grew up, I love martial arts.
Me too.
So if you grew up in the Shaolin Temple.
Yeah.
And you trained martial arts every day.
Right.
And it's just part of your life.
Right.
You're not thinking, hey, guess what? I'm going to go be an MMA champion.
Okay.
It doesn't pass your mind. You don't think, hey, guess what? When I grow up, I'm going to be a martial artist. It's a fabric of your life. It's not a title. It's not an idea. It's not a box to check.
Right.
It's like, this is where I am. This is my life. My parents are musicians and artists. It was around me all the time. A lot of my siblings were in it. I never thought of it as a career. And the singing part for me didn't start till I was about 22.
Okay.
And the whole thing was like, this is what I love doing. I love sharing it. Melodies are as loud in my head as a conversation I would hear to have with someone. It's just like, it's my life. Right. It's what I do. And the struggle and the battle came, I mean, when you start to ask yourself, or in my case, be asked by my dad, what is your reason? Why you? Why do you have talent? Why do you have music? why do you have those things? Not, do you like music? Do you want to be a musician? Like, no, that was evident. I love, it's like, it's what I'm doing every waking hour. I'm pursuing listening to music or trying to get better at it. It's like, but why? Why do you have the talent? Right. Why were you chosen to be given this gift to? Right. And that's where the journey really, really began for me, because then it had to be like, first off, I was like, I don't know. I mean, I just love music. Why? And my dad's like, well, that's great. You know, it's not enough. Right. There's a lot of musicians out there playing behind Madonna, putting out music that are going to really make life hard for 12-year-old girls who think I've got to transform my life, my body to be worth something. Right. When you don't. Right. Absolutely. You are born precious and beautiful and worthy of love and life and everything. You don't have to sell who you are to be worth something. Right. But is the music saying that? No, it's not. It's saying I'm a material girl in a material world, and if I do this and I do that. So there's a lot of heavy things that's behind why we do what we do, how we do it. And going out and playing funk music, a lot of it's like, unfortunately, soul music has this thing about it of like, hey, I want to get your clothes off as fast as I can and do the thing. Right. And it's like, that's not who I am. That's not what I'm about. You know, I'm about, what can I leave behind when my life is over that can help someone navigate life in a way that they can respect others, respect themselves, and maybe heal from some of the wounds that they may have. Yeah. And to approach it this way is, it's completely contradictory to the music business. Because the music business, like if you want to be popular, the playbook for that is be mysterious, be bigger than life, be a pop star, be this, you know, do whatever it takes to get in that spotlight and stay there. And don't be honest. Right. Honest isn't cool. Right. The name of our band is The Truth.
I love it. I know.
So we're out here to say, like, you know, you can tune out for me tomorrow, but whatever the last thing is you heard me say, I hope that it's something that's going to stick with you. Even if you don't like it, you're going to have to ask yourself why you don't like it. Because ultimately you're going to know this random weird guy who's creating music is creating it for a purpose of hopefully reminding you you're loved, reminding you you're worthy, and helping you navigate this ever-changing, wild, crazy world we live in.
Right, right.
And that's at the core of who we are and what we're doing. And it's like, it's beautiful, it's crazy, and it's everything wrapped in one. And kind of that's my hope with what we're doing on this journey, is that somewhere down the line, maybe one person in their whole life, in our whole existence, maybe one person will hear it and think, hey, that helped me get through something. If one person in the world can think that, that's my idea of being successful.
Well, I think you're successful. I think it's amazing. Just the music was really incredible. I loved it. It made me feel really good. I mean, I traveled all yesterday. There was a lot going on. There were a lot of moving pieces, and you know, thinking about how we're going to be this weekend. And it was just a really nice escape.
Thank you so much.
And your stage presence is really cool. So I want to. I just
dude, we were in the zone last night. That was really fun, man.
I loved you guys. So
thank you.
You talk about worthy. And so it's interesting. So I wanted to be in radio, and I did this, and I had a certain level, and I'm like, I want to do national TV commercials. I'm like, yeah, no, that's them.
Again, man, you talk, you have the voice for it.
But here's the thing. So in my mind, I'm like, well, that's them. They get to do that. Yeah. And then one day, and I talk about this in my book, is why not me? Like, why not me? And so it's interesting, the human dynamic, how we think that we're not worthy. And we could do a whole show on worthiness of people like, well, they have these talents. You know, you can see that on American Idol or America's Got Talent. You see these incredible artists that go, hi, my name is, and then they sing like from the angels above, like, and
it just shocks you.
Yeah, like, and I've never sang. I've only sang in my bedroom, and someone said that I wasn't very talented. And it's amazing how, as a human, we have these roadblocks in our brain that stop us. Mm-hmm. And I love what you said about recording artists. I meet recorders all the time. Matter of fact, I met Jewel when she was living out of her car in San Diego, and she was performing at a coffee shop. And I saw her perform, and I'm like, oh my God, why are you not a superstar? Why are you not famous? Well, I'm just kind of, And there's so many incredible talents. She got the star. And I think, the conversation that was just had just a few moments ago before we started recording, that could be your rocket ship to, and it's not even, I don't think you're into the fame, but I think you're into getting your message out there and sharing the love and sharing the truth.
Yeah. Which are you? When you say Jewel, you're talking about the recording
artist? Yeah. So she used to be homeless, and she was living out of her car, and she was playing in a coffee shop in San Diego, and I saw her perform.
Awesome.
And I'm like, oh my God,
just going for it.
Like, it's interesting because I had a very similar reaction when I saw you. I'm like, how do I not know this? He should be famous, and is he famous? And they're like, you're at this level, but it's interesting because they pick and choose how they want. And it might be more of a more challenging road because you're not the...
Well, it does come down to what you want. It does come down to like which road you're pursuing. And are you pursuing, Yeah, and the thing for me, it's like idea of success.
Yeah.
Like I get to speak at a lot of schools about music business, music career, development, and pursuits. And one thing I cannot stress enough is like the idea of success is broken. Like
so go deeper in that, because that could mean a lot of things. And it's a strong statement.
It's a strong statement.
That's a really strong.
The idea of what success is broken. If I think like I've made it or I'm almost making it when over 100,000 people know my name, or when 1 million people know my name, or when 100,000 people show up to a concert, or chant my name or know all my songs and all that stuff, then what I'm chasing is popularity. What I'm chasing is fame.
Right.
Because, we have these videos on TikTok or whatever where there's a dancing cat that can play 2 notes on a piano, and it's got 1 billion views. So I should go become a dancing cat and I'll be really popular. Right. Is that what we should make the pinnacle of our lives? Not only as artists, not only as musicians, not only as all these things, because again, we're not talking about us adults who are like in our 30s or higher who are thinking like, oh man, I want to pursue this thing. No, we're talking about the impressionable minds of people trying to shape their lives, preteens, teens. And we all know, like, being a teenager, how hard that was.
Oh my God.
Of like, where do I belong? Where do I fit? Thankfully, I found that's when I discovered my love for guitar, was at 13. And I would spend all my time in a corner just tinkering with that. But the thing I want to stress enough is when I talk about worthiness, I'm not talking about like you're worthy of being a Grammy nominated, a Grammy winning artist, you're winning that $1 million. I'm saying you're worthy of being who you are. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of being enough. Where you are, who you are, you're worthy of being enough. If there's a pursuit of something higher than that or bigger than that you're after, reevaluate your reason and your purpose. Because if your purpose is to make a lot of money, if your purpose is to be really well known, if your purpose is to get a lot of influencers and people coming to tell you how great you are and send you free stuff, those things are dead end roads that can really hurt you. If that's what you think you want, you should go and really meet rich people or famous people who have pursued that same road and ask them a simple question. Are you happy? Was it enough? Was it worth it? 90% of them, if they're honest with you, they will say no.
Right.
Now, am I saying there's something wrong with getting a lot of money? No. I'm saying there's something wrong with being popular? No. What I'm saying is people should really be careful of what their purpose and their reason is for going there, because it's wild. Do I have $1 million in the bank? No. Am I happy? Yes. Do I have a family? Yes. I'm happy. I'm living my life. I'm doing what I'm passionate about. I feel like a winner already, having found something in the world that I'm passionate about. Something that I get up in the morning and I'm excited to write some music, to share some music with somebody, to listen to some music, to make experiences with my family, some of my best friends who I create music with. But going into this music industry, this music world, it's in direct odds with the status quo idea of like, yo, win a Grammy and that's it. I'm like, no, I don't never need a red carpet in my life. I'm doing something I love, and I'm able to make people feel something special, to feel something. And I could lay my head down at the end of my life and think, that was worth it. That was absolutely worth it. I have a really dear friend of mine who's a emergency ICU nurse. And he said he's seen a lot of people on their near deathbed. And all of them have the, I should have. I wish I had. Dang it, give me my phone, let me call, He said, you know what they never finished that sentence with? I should have gotten more money. I should have gotten promotion. I should have gotten more famous. They always are, I should have made amends. I should have gone on that trip. I should have just sang the dang song. I should have just done this. I should have just, started the family with that person I love. Those are the things that matter. And we somehow get to a place where we take those things for granted because they're a given. We don't earn them. You're not born having to earn love.
Right.
You're inherently born with it. And it's cliche, but the more we give, the more we have, right? Some of us have a harder journey. I mean, I had 2 loving parents that gave everything to me and my siblings. Everything they could in their life, they would have given it up to their last breath. And some people don't have that reality. They have an uphill battle from the moment they're born. There's something to navigate physically, family-related, society-wise, something. And I respect that battle. But you're still worthy. I heard somebody say something really incredible to me. And I couldn't have found a simpler way to say it. They said, I have $100 and I'm going to give it to you. And the person's like, oh, cool. They're like, wait, hold on a minute. And they ball it up. They said, I'm still going to give it to you. They're like, oh, cool. And they hold on a minute. They spit on it. They stomp on it. They smack it in the mud. They pick it up. They're going to hand it to you. I'm still going to give it to you. And they're like, yeah, okay. What? And it's like, has that $100 lost its value? They're like, no. They're like, then why do you think that when you've been spit at, cussed at, thrown away, chucked in, everybody said all this crap to your face, why do you think you've lost your value? If we can respect $100 that way, we need to respect ourselves and other people a whole lot more.
That's a mic drop moment. I don't need to add anything else.
Thank you, Rob. Man, I love you.
Dude, I love you too.
Thank you so much for inviting me
too.
on here, man. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor, and I'm excited. I'm happy that we're in each other's lives now,
Absolutely.
man.
Oh yeah.
This is only chapter 1, man.
Exactly. So you know what? I'm just going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for being here today. We are live on Podopolo. We're at PODROCK. I'm so happy to be here. Ron Artis and the truth, and just the power of podcasting is incredible. And it opens up the door for people to share stories that you didn't know, And I want to thank you for joining me today here on Life Transformation Radio, a special edition live at PODROCK. And thank you, Podopolo. Until next time.
Aloha.
This is Life Transformation Radio. Download complete.